Good evening, free enterprise fans, and welcome to the first match in our doubleheader of the finals between JohnBirckhead and Pankraz in our Highway to the Zemus Zone 6 tournament. My name is Xenocat. I am joined here tonight in the booth by Vitasia for our first race of the doubleheader, second game in the series. How are you doing tonight, Vitasia?
I've been looking forward to this all day. We're in the finals. JohnBirckhead is down one game, but doubleheader tonight. You don't see doubleheaders too frequently, so I'm getting really excited and hyped for this one. Uh, it, you know, we're figuring out schedules for everything after the fact, but this race is shaping up to be just a fantastic one. We were talking a little bit about it ahead of time. All objectives seem to be pretty spread out, and an Eddie start doesn't get much more chaotic than that,
Oh
does it?
my goodness. Yeah, we have very spread objectives. Our constant objective, Forge, of course. Then we have the Giant of Babel, so there's our Darkness Crystal. Burn Village Mist with the package. You can guess what key item that requires. Throw the Fear with the Sand Ruby, another. You can figure that one out. Defeat the Baron Castle Basement Throne, so that'll require that Baron key. Complete the Sealed Cave behind the Luca key. Super Cannon behind the Tower Key, and the King at the Town of Monsters, just freely available once we get underground. A very good spread of objectives here.
My personal favorite is that four of the objectives really: Forge, complete the Giant, burn the Mist Village, and cure the Fever. None of them lead into other key items, so we're guaranteed at least two dead end objectives. So the old maxim of do your objectives won't necessarily come through to this one because half of our objectives on here won't lead into anything else.
Yeah, I think that puts a little more pressure on the runners to do the other four if they come across them. Just because there's not as much of a chance of there's something else doubling up.
Absolutely. And it's really looking fun. Of course, Pankraz showing off a little bit his naming scheme, of course, here. Um, this entire tournament has been absolutely fantastic. Of course, the mod for this flag set is Earn Your Keep. It's Be No Free. So all of the bosses are going to have most of their scripts really removed at this point in time. No, it's can be a little bit difficult. Dark Knight Cecil can have some really difficult spots. Uh,
Yeah.
the boss flag is turned on and everything, so no free stone casts out there.
Hmm.
This is probably one of the harder mods that was included in the pool, and of course, what else are we going to do for the finals?
Yeah. No, we gotta go with something tricky for the finals. And of course, giving our runners an Eddie hero makes this giant look very scary if we end up with something like the Baron Guards at the first spot, or DKC at either of the spots, really.
Well, and here's to hoping because we could see a lot of very nasty things. But if any runners in our community are capable of getting past those, it's these two in particular. Both JohnBirckhead
Absolutely.
and xPankraz, longtime members of the community, leaders within the community, and absolutely putting on a showcase to get here to the finals of the Highway to the Zenith Zone 6.
Absolutely, but it does look like our runners are now off. Going to be seeing what they are getting for their second character, what they're getting for the key item, and who this first boss and Baron is. That is Team 90 HP. Mylon is handing over a Lunar Staff.
Oh my goodness. This is, I hate to give any sort of guidance right out of the gate, but this is team go find dancing daggers now before you do anything else.
I have to agree with you there. We desperately want a Dancing Dagger or two for this team. Both of our party members here can use Dancing Daggers. Unfortunately, Rydia is going to be very slow compared to Edward. I was going to say at the beginning because she's level 1, but really through the entire siege, she's going to be quite slow. John is headed up to Damsian to raise the hovercraft. Pankraz headed right over to Evelyn to get a little more powerful loot.
Yeah, don't blame either of these runners. Both decisions, make sense. Oh, there's one dancing already. Rune Ring as well. change, and self-summon. That Dancing Basement is just absolutely loaded. Anything you could possibly want for a starting Rydia.
Yeah, and Pankraz is getting some great loot in Eblin, but none of it's been for his party. To answer a question in chat, the monster boxes are randomized, so Pankraz will have to be a little careful going through this Eblin. There are 3 monster boxes in Eblin Castle somewhere. Pankraz has not run into any of them yet. But I do really like John's play to Damsian. You're going to have to come to Damsian at some point, probably, to raise the hovercraft. And the loot here is more likely to be immediately useful.
Yeah, you have to start thinking in terms of, the item tiers there. And I do think that Dancing Dagger, I think, is more likely to show up, even though it's a little bit more dense in Castle Eblin. I think that the kinds of gear that you're looking at really is going to be more beneficial once you get in that Damsian area, at least if you're looking for those Dancing Daggers specifically. You could also be, in Pankraz's case, looking just to sell stuff and then go buy a bunch of daggers.
Yeah, or looking for something like a Heroine Robe or a really powerful summon for Rydia, which won't be immediately useful, but will still be useful long term. Unfortunately, Pankraz has discovered that all 3 monster boxes are in the right tower, so that means we're going to be doing quite a bit of resetting here, because this party is not set up to deal with these monster boxes.
Oh, absolutely not. And I think Pankraz knew that going into it. You kind of do that. But, 2 real quicks there. Also, up on Mount Hobbs, we're rewarded with a cane, so we have a little bit of offense.
Yeah.
We have a Dwarfax. I know there was an Ice Brand that I think he also picked up at some point. So
Yes,
we
there
have
was an
a
Ice
little
Brand.
bit.
There was an Ice Brand in Damsian. Kane started with a Wind Spear, which wouldn't be too bad, but the Ice Brand is just a bit better. And Kane can also use Dancing Daggers if we hand an extra one, but I think we're just gonna go ahead and jump with the Dwarfax, or attack with the Dwarfax. I don't hate it. Ice Brand's not much better, although Pankraz does get an Ice Brand as well in Eblin. And we'll have some better armor, but I think other than that and a Ninja Sword, that's all we've really found here.
And with that, Birckhead does get through, gets everyone alive and really activated right now. Only needed 1 Dancing Dagger. He put the Change Rod in the Rune Ring, so Rydia, I think, is going to now have enough MP to be able to hardcast that Sylph. And between those 2 items, it's going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. Birckhead really threw the 90 HP gate there that can trick a lot of folks very early, and did it recognizing very early on, hey, that Damsian Basement had everything a body could want.
Yeah, and although Kane doesn't have the best weaponry, and I would imagine he'll be tempted to do some looting to try and find something better than an Ice Brand for Kane. Kane can be totally fine with the Ice Brand for now. Yep, storing that Ice Brand, moving the bandana over is a very heads-up play. Eddie doesn't need it for Dancing Dagger damage, and Kane can use it quite effectively on that Ice Brand damage.
More to the point, Kane already put the Dwarfax on and was attacking with it, so he's already back row glitched and ready to roll to deal full damage from that back row.
Yeah, having that Dwarfax is really, really nice for John. It looks like we did find a Dragon Whip in Eblin, so that is something. Rydia able to do some attacking with that. We do find King and Queen Eblin here in Fabul. They are still relatively free, even with our Beano-free flag. They won't do their whole speech and script and run away after a little bit. You do have to take out the HP, but they still only cast very weak Fire 2s and Fire 1s.
It looks like we're still going to follow the script where once one of the 2 dies, or
no, they do not follow the script. John expecting the queen to disappear after the king goes away? No, that's not what happens here. The queen sticks around, and she'll still cast Fire 1s very slowly. Pancras going in to check the Hob summon, which John did not check. It is unfortunately Mage, and Pancras is not interested in Mage.
No, you were hoping, for a sweeper of some sort, anything to really help you out, but Mage is just about as bad as it can possibly get there. But John Birckhead now through and is going to be rewarded with the full defense key spot location. It is half of our Forge objective, Legend. Don't know if you want to see that quite yet. You're really hoping for a Magma Key, but we'll take it.
It's far from the worst thing we could have gotten there.
When I think of things like the Legend Sword, like seeing half of it right in the path, something early game that both runners are going to check, you like to see it, but you want to see the other half somewhere in kind of an offshoot location, somewhere where you're not likely to see it elsewhere.
Yes.
Hopefully, well, I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. We see exits that are for sale in Eblin. By the way, Pancras showing us Rubik's
Yeah, that'll speed up that Antlion Cave for John. And there's the Adamant in Antlion Cave. So both halves of Forge turning up on the overworld. We're going to be forging pretty early. No, John is skipping Antlion, headed over to Baron Inn, going to be trying to build up his party a little bit more.
I certainly hope we don't get into a position where John stumbles upon the Magma Key and then forgoes Antlion. That would be an absolute tragedy. And we've seen it happen in this tournament. When you're down 0-1 in a tournament, now it's a best of 5 series, but sometimes you got to make a decision on how to cut, what to cut out.
Yeah, and especially with Cecil showing up here, that's a strong incentive to go up to Ordeals, even if this is not the Magma Key. We might see John head over to Ordeals before doing Iron Cave.
Well, I don't think it necessarily matters if he does it before or after. I'm just worried about him never doing it, so we'll see.
Oh, no. Well, my point is, if Underground Access is not here, it's got to be on Ordeals somewhere. Or there's a cheeky Demus hiding somewhere. And that Cecil and Baron Inn is going to send John straight to Ordeals. This Baron Inn also brought to you by bosses that are no longer free.
How much HP do we have to chew through for water? Well, for this location, then.
It's 4,000-ish.
Oh, and it's punchy.
Yeah, and it's punchy. 4,000 HP of punchy water hag.
Yeah, and the problem is, I think John knows by now that, hey, this is going to be a little bit difficult, but I think we're in a good position here because this is a pretty slow spot.
Yes, we should be fine with the number of life potions that we have, that we should be able to get through this.
Water Hag just has an out for Eddie, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. This was supposed to be Edward's solo fight. Okay. Yeah, Water Hag knows who he's supposed to be fighting.
Canonically, he's like, this is what we're doing.
Yes, he's like, canonically I'm supposed to take you out. So we're gonna take you out. Pancraz now having both halves of Forge. We won't be able to do that till we get Underground Access. But that Underground Access has to come from Baron Inn, Ordeals, or a cheeky Demus check. And okay, that could be our Underground Access.
Yeah, actually, I think that's a great thing to see if that's the Underground Access, because traditionally, as runners, you check everything before you do the hook route. So really kind of nice to see that hook. I think that's going to incentivize John to go back and do that Antlion regardless.
Yes, I am very happy for John that there's at least a little more incentive to do Antlion. Though it looks, oh no, it looks like we're going ahead and doing that before Ordeals anyway. Going to take the DKC down through the Antlion Cave. It's not a ton of experience, so I don't hate it. He has a black sword. That's decent.
Hey, that's viable up until he has to turn into a paladin. So happy to see it there.
Yeah, we'll be more than strong enough for Antlion Cave.
Meanwhile, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, in addition, we have the Ice brand, so we're looking at probably a one-shot with Kane once we get to that point. Pankraz isn't set up quite as well for this fight that's going to be going on over here. Using the Dragon Whip instead of the Self Summon, it'll be interesting to see how Pankraz handles this.
Mm-hmm.
But Birckhead does get through, is going to be rewarded with the Adamant. And again, picked up those exits, so it's going to pick up a little bit of time.
Yeah, John is through these 3 checks just a little bit faster by virtue of using that self-summon instead of the Dragon Whip, and just getting to the checks faster, skipping out that Evelyn loop. I think overall Pankraz has had a slightly faster time with the checks, just not counting the loop in Evelyn, and John is going to, I think this is just a character peak. Wants to pick up the hook character before heading up Mount Ordeals. I would guess. I would be very surprised to see John heading down the hook route without getting Cecil turned into a paladin.
Also, really happy to see that Leviathan orb that John picked up there in the first couple chests in Evelyn Cave. That's going to be significant. That's really going to power up Aridia quite a bit.
Yeah, that alone makes this trip worth it. Even if this character is a complete dud, getting Leviathan here is huge.
Absolutely. Still really interested to see what this other character is going to end up being. Getting everything set up. Looks like setting things up. We might even see us opening boxes here and even opening up the Staleman chest here. Both Leviathan and Ice Brand Kane should be doing significant amounts of damage to those Stonemen, or to the Staleman, beg your pardon. She'll be and get through that pretty easily and receive a good chunk of XP.
We are also buying a couple black belts as well here in the shop. Those are very nice strength boosting gear. Pankraz is done with Baron Ing as well. We'll see where Pankraz decides to go. Heading into the inn to buy some heal pot, or the shop to buy some heal potions. John looting pretty heavily, finding the Staleman chest. This is a very scary chest.
It absolutely can be. We have seen Rydia already dodge one punch. Eddie dodged one. We don't necessarily...
Oh no. That is exactly what John did not want to happen.
Luckily, it does look like our Kane can take a punch right now. Oh, only 500.
No, he's not. And Kane is asleep. This is not good. Edward is gone. Rydia is on the floor.
Yeah.
Kane is asleep.
This is reset mode right now.
Yeah, no. Unfortunately, that encounter is very mean. At the very least, John knows where that Leviathan is, knows where that box is as well, can avoid it on this next pass through. We'll have to redo some shopping.
Luckily knows that we don't need anything in the item shop, so we're going to go right over... Oh, just going to bypass
We're not even going to do the weapon
belt.
shop. We can pick up those black belts later. Pankraz taking care of some boss peeking, finds out about the Mylon in the waterfall, says, yeah, I don't need to fight Mylon in the waterfall. John knows that none of these boxes have anything good in them. There's crystal armor, that could be very useful once Cecil's a paladin. A couple slumber swords, which could be darts, or could be money. And we find a white mage down here in the hook route.
I'll take a Porum. This is quite good. You know, a little concerned for a second about if you would have any healing power. Gonna have to get a couple levels on her, but personally, I think we're gonna be doing just fine.
Yes, we're definitely glad that we left Mount Ordeals available on the overworld to get some extra levels from.
Now, I am personally what uh, someone might call a chicken, in that even after the levels up on Mount Ordeals, I'm looking at those monster boxes in uh, Castle Evelyn and thinking that's great experience for what is otherwise a relatively low level White Mage and now a level 1 Cecil. Uh, these two runners, though, honestly, I could see them just bypassing that immediately because I don't know if they'll think they'll need it.
Yeah. No, I think they're going to be strong enough that they can handle it, especially with Leviathan on Rydia. Kane's pretty solid. They have Cecil. John at least has crystal armor for that Cecil.
I did miss. I was so fixated on our Rydia, I did not see what boss was located there. Did you
It
have
was Octomam, which is very coverable.
It is coverable, true.
It will also slow down as the fight goes on, which is very good. We're still a little concerned about the first spot.
I mean, that's peak where we want our Dark Knight Cecil, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That would be fun. That would be a fun Dark Knight Cecil to see them deal with. But it can't be there.
No, it can't be there. Okay.
There's a reason it can't be there. DKC, when we have Beano Freon, is considered an unsafe boss. So, Dark Knight Cecil, Valvalis, Wyvern, and Golbez cannot be gating our underground access. Or at least our only underground access. If we have something up here on the mountain that gives us a magma key, then DKC could absolutely be there, but then we probably won't be fighting him. Okay, Nazo can absolutely gate underground access. Kinazo is only scary at the Rubicon spot.
All right, but we have a set of Magus sisters here in the back attack spot. Under normal circumstances, I think this might be a little scary.
It's a little scary when they hit Rydia.
Kane also has access to their Rune Axe right now, so this is...
yes, so we're fine. Runex and Leviathan are very much helping with this fight. Without those, this is a much less friendly fight.
Both runners effectively have the same equipment. I think about the only thing that Pankraz has done, like Pankraz looted out Evelyn Castle, JohnBirckhead looted out Dempsey and Basement. Otherwise, I think these two were pretty well about even in terms of where they've gone, the loot they've had. There's not a whole lot of difference between the two.
No, there's not. I mean, John has the dancing dagger advantage still, which I think will last just through the Ordeals changing room. But I really don't think they're in a terrible situation. Or a terribly different situation.
I did look over and see Pankraz. Looks like he bought a small stack of
Yeah, he bought some
vampires.
vampires in Cave Eblin to help out, both with a little bit with Ordeals and then also with especially this changing room. Not having that dancing dagger, Edward needs something to do damage.
Well,
Oh. Oh my. Well, Ordeals is just a little bit retired.
oh no.
Edward is failing at taking out D-Lunars for John. This is not great. Okay, we've taken one down and the other one is very weak. This is fine.
He's trying to buffer.
John, it's okay. You're not going to die to the fire.
That was very close. That took...
Oh, Pankraz is in a very different situation. Because the D-Lunars are undead, and what do vampires do against undead enemies?
Oh no. Yeah, those vampires are going to be meaningless.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is... And Pankraz will know this is the Darkness Crystal. He has to come back here. He probably has some Cure 2s, maybe? We could toss those. That's a solution.
I saw at least one Cure 3 in his inventory, I remember.
Okay, that takes care of one D-Lunar. We'll see what he does. We have no cure spell. We have no curatives.
Oh
we have
no.
0 curatives. This is very bad.
So, here's the thing. Like, we know as commentators and as viewers that right now JohnBirckhead has a significant advantage. And if you want to lean into it, you follow that darkness crystal, you try to do everything you can to maximize that advantage. That being said, I don't know if John knows that. So I don't know if he's really going to lean into that darkness quite as much. Although he's certainly shopping right now, looking for those life potions around.
Yeah, I think Pankraz is thinking about setting up to do lunar frogs, which is gonna be, it's gonna work. It's gonna be slow, but it'll get you through the fight, probably. It eventually. It is not fast, but it will make the fight free. John's stocking up on silk webs, it looks like. Those will be helpful for several fights because Edward is fast, so making things slow is good.
And there's our life potions, a stack of 30.
Yeah.
We think Eddie's going to die a lot, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, not Eddie so much as everyone else. Okay, Pankraz is getting stuff set up for this D-Lunar's fight. Has hidden from the fire spells, is coming back out. Gotta use a Star Veil before the breath goes off, and then has a Great Bow and Charm Arrows to deal with the frogs. Hopefully we get 2 frogs, and not 1 frog.
Yeah, if we only got 1 frog, it would not help us out quite a bit. So this is a bit of a roll of the dice here.
Oh no. That is 1 frog. And that frog is dead. And
so now it's just It's just YOLO at this point.
Yep, it is. Do the damage. Try. Okay, we got through. We're
He
fine.
does get through.
That center slot helping out a lot. xPankraz is through, gets the Darkness Crystal, but that's given John all the time he needs to do all of the shopping and get most of the way back down this hook route. Overall,
Yeah,
I think that makes up for John's wipe to the stalemate.
it certainly helps quite a bit. If you're in Pankraz's shoes, you don't necessarily feel great about taking a wipe and then having to do that particular slow. I think when you're in that position, you just presume that whatever nastiness you run into, your opponent got through it cleanly, so you feel behind.
Absolutely. We are definitely in a place where I think both of our runners might feel behind, honestly, at this point. John for that Staleman wipe and xPankraz for the rough Ordeals 3 fight. Because I'm sure he knows that if he had a Dancing Dagger, that fight is much faster.
And, you know, realistically, he had set everything up perfectly. That was just one of the only fights that possibly could have hurt him.
Honestly, probably the worst fight for him to find there.
I do like how Pankraz says, I got this Darkness Crystal. I have to lean into it now.
Yes. xPankraz is going to go check on, I assume, at least the Moon character. Although, I don't hate John sticking with the current party. This party is pretty strong. I don't know that there's a lot of people I would be willing to switch people out for at this point.
I think ideally you'd want Iridia instead of a Porum, but you know, you're not going to.
Yeah, we're not fussy about our white mages here. Rosa instead of Porum would be wonderful, but John's gonna go ahead and take on Mad Ogres. We do have a Rune Axe. Unfortunately, Kane low rolling the damage there. And only by just a little too.
Let Porum hit things. I hear the meme already.
Yeah, Kane should probably be in the middle slot for accuracy, but it's fine, I guess. We're just gonna let Porum bonk things for 43 damage.
In the meantime, we got Cover Cecil doing Cover Cecil things. And xPankraz is opting to take the hairdryer chest for experience, which honestly I think is, I mean, oof.
Yeah, interesting. We're not going to be getting that, unfortunately, on Porum. Unless this life potion fires real soon. But yeah, no, I'm gonna miss out on the experience on Porum, which is unfortunate, but gets it on at least Cecil, Kane, and Iridia. And we'll see what items our runners get out of their boxes. Dragon Whip for John, and Dragoon Armor for xPankraz. Not what either of them are looking for, but the experience is the real prize.
Absolutely. In particular, I think xPankraz, because that one hairdryer chest is just about equivalent to doing all of the monster boxes in Evelyn Castle. You know, I don't know how the experience actually maps out, but it is a lot of experience that you can sweep through very, very quickly.
Yeah, it's more experience than the Evelyn Castle monster boxes if you're not doing life glitches. And there is a ninja on the moon. We do have... xPankraz, I believe, does have at least one sword for him. And, oh hi, D-Mist!
Opts to change out Kane. That's interesting. I mean, I get it,
we don't really have a great Cane weapon, and it looks like we did pick up 2 Ninja Swords, so... Edge is better. I definitely don't hate it.
No, I think, especially in this particular party setup, you don't necessarily want to get rid of Cecil because of his ability to cover, and you already picked up the crystal armor. If we had a defense sword or a nice lance, I would say that would be one thing, but when you have those 2 ninja swords, I feel like that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. 2 Ninja Sword, double Ninja Sword Edge is very strong. And that will give xPankraz a little more power heading into this underground than John does. Although John is doing pretty good work on this D-Mist.
Yeah, D-Mist, this is, again, one of those things that's punchy, but Crystal Armor Cecil lets everything go pretty smooth. And it does look like xPankraz says, I want a few more levels. Possibly for his Porum, because Porum, again, missed out.
He might be, just doing some levels. Might actually be interested in what's in these boxes. Is up a game, so he might just feel like, I can play safe. If the hook rod's really rude, I can let John struggle with that a bit, and then come in and take the more safe approach that'll be more consistent. But John is now into the Octoman fight. We have enough Silk Webs at this point that we can just throw a Silk Web at just about everything that we fight here on John's side. And Octoman shouldn't be too bad. It is a bit punchy, but it will slow down as the fight goes on. I missed what xPankraz got out of that box.
It was so fast, I didn't see it at all either. Oh, Artie Arrows.
Artie Arrows, definitely a good pull. Not the best pull, but pretty solid. We'll hold on to those for sure.
I mean, if we get to the point where we haven't found the spoon, because we are stuck with our Eddie regardless. Artie Arrows and, Samurai Bow or even an Artie Bow can do a little bit of work late game.
I would be thinking that, but we do already have the Adam and the Legend Sword. So we can already get the Forge Weapon. Yeah, unfortunately our best bow at the moment, I believe, is still that Great Bow, which is not very great, as it turns out. I guess there is a 1 in 3 chance that we get Eddie's Requiem Harp, which is not super useful.
Yep, you never know. Meanwhile, John has set things up relatively nice. Working through this Octomom. Full cover Cecil is doing full cover Cecil things.
Yep. We don't really care that Rydia and Kane are all that we have left. They're just hitting away. Cover Cecil should be completely fine.
Looks like we were out of MP, so Rydia is just... I'm curious why we're not getting Porum up, honestly.
I am a little curious as well. We might be thinking about slingshotting Porum later. That's my only thought about why we might not want to get her back up. Edward doesn't need to get back up. He's not doing anything helpful.
No, and he gains experience anywhere.
Yeah. Getting Porum to blink for the grind would be important if we didn't already have the Crystal Armor. Crystal Armor excuses a lot.
Yeah, and I think to your point, is looking to get that Porum slingshot set up anyway, because we have the Darkness Crystal, so we already kind of know it.
But yeah, that is John through the hook route, getting the pitfall just after the 36-minute mark. Pankraz, not going to be too terribly far behind, but is going to be a little further behind. Sparkle is shown at the top of tower on John's side.
Not a lot of guidance really as we're getting right to the underworld. You know, we
I
have
mean,
no
yeah.
other key items. We have the forge, but
I'm feeling Forge, maybe Dwarf Castle, maybe freebies, and then go do the grind. Oh, and Demist, yes. Don't forget Demist.
yeah, I think Demas. Yeah, absolutely. Turn in, you know, the forge. I do like doing D Machine, or not D Machine. The Dwarf Castle. Anytime you have Iridia, I mean, we have Leviathan, but you're really hoping for that Bahamut, let's face it.
Yes, we're hoping for Bahamut. We might, who knows, we might get Rosa or Palin, who would be great additions to the party for a slingshot, for a grind. But yeah, Forge not surprising. Hey, there's crystal armor for sale. Or we can buy apples. But we got Loki loot.
And help me out. What does the Loki? I mean, it's still pretty decent attack, as I recall, right?
It is pretty good attack. It's like over 100 attack. You know, pretty strong. It's not gonna be like, it's like Xcal level maybe, and then maybe not quite Xcal. Maybe more like Defense Sword. I forget. But it hits every single monster racial weakness, except for glands. The Loki's loot will destroy this egg. As soon as
We just
Ed
gotta
is
get
not
him out.
hiding. We just have to tell him he's not allowed to hide, and then he can one-shot the egg. Because the egg is a dragon, and Loki's loot is one of the various monsters that the Loki's loot is effective against is dragons. It is also good for mages, it is also good for giants, it is also good for undead. It's good for a lot of things. And yeah, John is going to go ahead and use both sirens right now to get that slingshot set up on that Porum.
Feels like the right call, absolutely. So right now we have. Well, here's the thing, because we haven't found a poison or ogre axe for King.
Yeah,
so we got to do a little bit of shopping.
Yes, and I expect that's what we're going to do. John's heading down to the Fey March. We can take care of some shopping here. There's an objective down here. There's a freebie down here. I think this makes a lot of sense now that we've done our grind. Sadly, Zeromus does not have a racial weakness, so the Loki's loot will not do 4 times damage. Oh, that dancing dagger is going to be fun for Pankraz to see.
That's an insulting dancing dagger, is what it is. Hey!
Hey! Wonderful. That's a package. That's another objective available already. We're up to 4 objectives now that we could theoretically complete.
That is something you want to be careful for, though, now. I mean, do you want to complete it right now, on your way to check Demas, or do you want to save it? Because, again, there's no reason necessarily to do it right now.
No, I don't think you do it right now. Especially with Sandruby as an objective. I might peek it, sit through it if it's someone I want to take for my giant grind. If it's not someone I want to take with me, no, we don't do that right now. We can wait till later, because if we do that now, we have to sit through the character to get the character before we can turn in the Sandruby. And that is another objective. No.
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 Oh.
We're going for it. I don't love this. I know we have crystal armor. I know that we have this. And weaks are not going to be really a problem for anyone except for Cecil. But, oh, no! We just did a lot of damage. Does Porum have Blink? Doesn't matter, Cecil is dead. No.
We did
No,
buy quite a
Valvallis.
few illusions, but yeah, I don't think...
I don't think this is a reasonable fight to take at this point, and John has decided, yeah, I don't think so either.
We didn't check the weapon shop for axes.
Ooh, we didn't. Oh, that's a good point. That weapon shop could have the axes we're looking for. It could also be in Tamra, which is where John is headed now. Pankraz is a little bit ahead, and there are ogre axes here. So we found some axes.
Hey, high-fiving one another.
Yep, looks like John is only going to be able to afford one axe. That's fine. One axe should be all we really need. Pick up a few cure trees. Pankraz headed down to the Fame Arch to find out the news about Valvallis. John is headed off to Sylph Cave, it looks like, to go ahead and take care of Sheila 1. I don't hate this before the grind. You may as well just see what this is.
Check it out. I mean, so think about it this way. We have Forge. We can theoretically complete the Giant. We can burn the Mist Village. So that's 3 objectives. We could theoretically take out the King as soon as we have the grind done. That's 4. We're looking for 6. So if Sheila ends up pointing us in the right direction and gives us something else, I mean, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and it's not like doing this gets any faster with more levels. Doesn't matter how many levels you get. Walking through Sylph Cave is going to take the same amount of time. If we had the pan, we could take care of that in one trip instead, but a grind is not going to get us the pan.
Unfortunately, no.
But yeah, John moving the hovercraft over. Pankraz now looks like setting up the grind now that he knows, hey, I have this really cool harp that does all of the damage.
Alright, so setting up Sheila 1 to figure out what we got. Haven't turned in Demist Mommy yet, though.
Yeah, we have not seen that Demist yet. I'm hoping that John remembers and goes to that next. Pankraz looks like is going to be a little more ambitious in the slinging, setting up a sling on Rydia, and Sheila hands over the pass, which is basically, hey, I've written you a permission slip, you're allowed to go full clear the moon right now.
I think that double sling that Pankraz is setting up is going to end up being pretty favorable, just because there's so much experience that Rydia requires.
Yes.
Anything that you can do to minimize that, and I think he's already set up.
Mm-hmm. John, it looks like, is not going to check Demist quite yet. I really hope that he remembers. Pankraz is. John's going to set up the grind. This makes sense. We're getting set up for grinding. John, what are you going to be leaving behind here at Demist? I mean...
That feels like it could be a trap.
That could be...
It's bait. It is
bad.
absolutely bait, Fiery Blizzard. I agree with you.
Yeah, that is potentially value, but the runners are hoping it's not value.
Pankraz, help correct me if I'm wrong, Chad. I seem to recall Pankraz is the chairman and CEO of Team Fade Harp. Am I wrong here in my memory?
I don't think he's quite that hard on the harp, but I don't expect him to chase that. Pankraz is heading to Troya. I think this is just shopping.
Oh, okay. So Pankraz is not. He might just be a
No.
subscriber.
He is certainly not the chairperson. I don't expect him to do it right now, but I think that's because I don't think I would do it. Not right now.
Not when you have a grind to do, not when there's so much else that you can get done that feels like it's going to be more worthwhile. I mean, Dwarf Castle when we still have a child Rydia.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think it'd probably even be more efficient to do your grind, complete the giant while you're up there, and then turn around and do the king spot. Like, I still think that would be more efficient.
Yes, I think that would be probably a better way to go than heading to the Twin Harp. But
Either way, yeah,
John has
is
set up
starting
his
his grind.
grind. It's only been 10 minutes since he got underground, so pretty quick there. Pankraz has made up quite a bit of time in the underground just from not doing the Sheila loop, and is now setting up his grind.
Lord Goober, the harp is located from the Demus kill, which was in kind of along our path to the underground at Hook 1. So both runners have certainly killed Demus. However, JohnBirckhead has not turned it in yet. Meanwhile, Pankraz has.
Yes. And considering that the key item isn't going to make a difference as far as getting to 10 key items before the grind, not a big deal. And it's not like we're going to be chasing that Twin Harp anytime soon. Our Mac Giants are going to have a bad day courtesy of
Yeah, courtesy of this Loki harp.
courtesy of
dealing.
Loki's loot and an Ogre Axe doing lots of damage. Does get a double off here, with double life glitch here with Edward and Porum using that jump command. So we'll get credit for 3 kills there.
Let's see, not getting a slingshot on our Rydia. Will be getting a slingshot on the Porum. I think Pankraz was successful in getting the slingshot set up on Rydia, so it's going to be a little bit easier to get things rolling for Pankraz. He might even be finished with his grind.
I don't know, actually. It looks like he had Edge at level 30 and Rydia's level 26. And Porum's lower than 30. I don't think that's a sling for Pankraz's Rydia. Just a little bit too high level, I think, for that slingshot, unfortunately. John's grind is going very smoothly.
Yeah, as Scarcer is pointing out, he looks like he's got a rhythm for getting double life glitches now, which can be a little bit difficult to set up unless you're an experienced runner. And I think it's suffice to say both of these runners are significant in their experience.
Yep, just doing a single on this one, that's fine. We're just trying to get a few of these kills. Pankraz has run into not the Mac Giant. I mean, it is a Mac Giant, but it's not the Mac Giant.
Not the one we were looking for, no.
This will actually get a slingshot set up, though. Yeah, that's 2-3 levels across the board. I think that's enough to at least get Rydia the slingshot. Yeah, 32, 33. That is that is perfectly a slingshot on both Rydia and Porum now for Pankraz.
Okay, and yeah, and he still maintains the setup to be able to get the Searcher immediately. That was really significant, actually.
Yeah, that is a really heads-up play from Pankraz now with a slingshot on both the mages instead of just the one. We might be seeing a shorter grind here. So while John got into his Mach Giant first, Pankraz might have just a faster fight. So John will have more levels on the other characters. I will note that Edge is not doing as much damage as Kane is for John. And there's 500,000 for John, which is several levels. It's not going to be enough for Nuke on Rydia. Choosing to forgo that gets up to Quake at least, and Porum is slung into the stratosphere. Honestly, I don't hate not getting Rydia to Nuke here. We have a giant to do.
Yeah, I tend to think when you can do the grind so early, I don't think it's quite as mandatory as some other runners, especially when you have kind of the depth of DPS that you have with everyone else. I mean, Cecil's doing amazing with this cover. The Loki Harp is going to do amazing work kind of on no matter what you have. And if you have that slingshot for him to be able to keep everyone up and then cast a Zerk as you need to, this will be, I mean, it'll be quite quick, and we'll get to Nuke pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, she should be able to get to Nuke pretty quickly. She's not going to quite get there just from the giant experience. And John has plenty of Silk Webs. He got a whole stack of 15 before going underground, so he should be totally fine on that front. And oh my goodness, it's another piece of vanilla in this seed. That's vanilla elements. We've had what? Vanilla...
Okay.
What else has been vanilla? We had a vanilla harp, actually. Technically. And vanilla ogre axes and Tomra.
Yeah, at this point, you Zerk up Eddie and say, here we go.
Oh yeah, Eddie is going to destroy the element... Oh no.
Oh my god.
He fell over. We're gonna try that again. But both the Mylon phase and the Ruby phase have racial weaknesses that Edward can take advantage of. Payne can also take advantage of the Ruby phase because the Ruby phase is a mage. So Mylon's gonna do, or Edward's gonna do 8,000 damage to this Mylon because he's undead. That was not berserked, by the way. That was just a regular hit.
Yeah, this is going to be quite strong. Luckily, quad nines, easy.
Yep, there's the quad nines that we expect from Edward. Just in time for Ruby to... Ruby turns up just in time to take a big hit from Kane. Yeah, Eddie won't be as good against the Kainazu and Val forms, but he's going to do so much damage against the Ruby and Mylon forms.
And well, Pankraz is done. That was 700,000 experience.
Yeah, a bit more experience on Pankraz's side. Pankraz should have Nuke and White online. I think John does have White online, but not Nuke.
It'll be interesting because Well, no, with 700,000 experience, that means everyone's going to be up a little bit higher.
Yeah, Pankraz's whole party is looking like they're right around the 50s. Whereas John stopped a little shy of that. Rydia falls over for John. That's unfortunate. We would definitely like her to get the experience here, even if it's not going to be a huge amount. John's still working on getting her up to nuke. But this Elements fight has slowed down a lot now that we're into the phases that are not...
That's something you don't see every day.
Yes, Knazel will cast Big Wave if you leave him up long enough, and managed to do that. Even had that queued up before the Valvalis transformation, I guess. But yeah, the Val phase is going to be a little bit... The Val and Knazel phase are going to be a little slower for John. I would love to see a Holy Cast come out here. From Forum. Because that will do quite a bit of damage. Yep, there we go. There's a light queued up. Leviathan's queued up. I would maybe have liked to see a Lit 3 instead. At this point, Lit 3, the spell delay isn't a big deal when you're fast anchored.
Meanwhile, we see Pankraz is using Reflect strats, trying to kill off, taking advantage of the elemental weaknesses to use.
Oh my goodness, it's
spells.
Storm! We love Storm! But yeah, John does get through the fight a little bit faster than Pankraz does, but Pankraz should have a pretty quick Elements fight here. Certainly going to be faster than John's, and yeah, John is just going to be bleeding time at this point. Every single fight. I'm heading back to save quickly before heading up to the CPU fight. Really would love to see if this is a fight where that's applicable. See some elemental spells get cast, or even Quake. Not so much Quake from Rydia, but yes, Lit 3 here, absolutely useful. Yep, just tossing that Silk Web, getting Edward Zerked is good. I would love to see some Lit 3s coming out, and John is going for Lit 3s, that's what he needs here. Pankraz, I missed what happened, but he is tipped into the Elements phase, or into the Ruby phase of Elements, which is not the best.
No, luckily, glares don't do that much damage there.
And he's been counting damage, does an Ice 3 there, and gets it down without the second half of the fight. So that is nice. John is through Odin. No troubles there. 150,000 experience, so that's a little more. Forum's up to life 2. Rydia's gotten weak, so she's now just a couple levels away. So she should have nuke pretty quickly on the moon. The Veil ran out on Pankraz's side. Definitely a situation that happens with a fast hero.
Can happen. Yeah, you're a little late for this seed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be taking Yang.
He really has had a glow up this tournament with how everything has been setting up compared to most previous tournaments, but unfortunately, doesn't help when you get chosen after the grind.
No, usually once we do our grind, our party is pretty much set. We're not taking anyone else at this point. We'll see where John's going. It looks like we're landing right away, which is a telltale sign that we're headed up to the moon. Or not.
We have a spare airship right here.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not headed to the moon then. Never mind. John remembered. John remembered demist.
He did remember Zemus. I'm sure he was halfway through probably the elements fight and was like, oh yeah, I have that to do.
I had a demist that I needed to turn in.
So will he fall into that trap? Will he take the bait?
I don't think so. I feel like if you miss a really obvious freebie and you find out it's the Twin Harp, you take the Twin Harp and then you leave. And it looks like that's exactly what he's done. Pankraz is through the giant now. John just a few seconds ahead on the straight line, but Pankraz does have a more powerful party.
See, I don't know if I like this or not. Part of me wants to still say do your objectives and go defeat that king at the town of monsters.
Yeah.
Objective, and you got the levels now for it.
Oh yeah, that Val is not going to pose too big of a threat at this point to John. On the other hand, the moon is a very dense play, and we do have the pass, so we won't have to come back. And we know that Feymarch is sitting there. It's not going to lead to everything. We are going to want to find something else. Most likely that leads to a death. Well, we're going to want to find at least one other thing. Probably. It could lead to everything at this point, which is...
I was going to say, because we need 2 objectives.
Yeah, no, it could lead to everything. Oh my goodness. It could absolutely lead to everything. Pankraz is staying blue planet.
Okay, this is the decision that this race is going to hang on. I'm convinced of it now.
Yeah.
Going to the moon or doing the objectives.
John might feel behind from from that wipe still. He's had a couple of things not quite go his way, and might be feeling just a little behind. Pankraz heading back for the objective on the blue planet. This makes sense. I don't expect Pankraz to take the Golbez. He might. I don't expect it. It's a long, slow fight. There are many better options at this point.
Well, and how much of it is knowing that he's up a game, knowing that you're playing a little bit with house money. You know, you can take your time, be thorough, check everything, make sure that you're not going to do it. Honestly, in that regard, I wouldn't be surprised if Pankraz does the heart, because it's being more thorough.
Yes. No, and Pankraz has lost some games due to not being thorough, so I'm not super surprised to see him coming back to the blue planet. Starting with the Val absolutely makes sense. We're taking care of this objective, getting it out of the way. We'll see what's behind it. John headed straight for the bottom of the moon, going to be taking on this bottom moon, heading right for Ribbon Room. We want key items, we want experience. Mom Bomb, unfortunately, does not have a weakness Edward can exploit.
That said, he's still our strongest melee attacker, so zerking him is still going to be a priority.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this will split the experience here, so we're not going to get quite as much as we want. But... oh well. Still going to take the fight, but still 2 key items. And it's not going to take super long with that Wookiee Sleep.
Nope, do not believe so. Oh yeah, it's a good thing.
Right.
Take that Dragon Whip
kind
off.
of don't want the Dragon Whip on Rydia anymore. We would like Rydia to be effective at casting Leviathan.
He's had that Dragon Whip on since he got into the Underground, because
yes, that's been on since
MP.
the Octoman fight. On the hook route. So that's been on Rydia for a solid half hour. Not that it mattered for any of the grind. Or, it mattered a little for Element Spot, but... yeah, Mom Bomb does not have a modifier. That's just the base damage of the Wookiee Sleep. That is a Sand Ruby.
Sand Ruby. Oh my. We could be in no mode depending on what Pankraz ends up finding behind this Val.
Yeah, that is access to now 5 objectives for our runners. Or for John. Val just gives over a Rune X, so that's nothing from the Leviathan spot. Pankraz is set up to do the Golbez right next door. It looks like he is going to go ahead and take on that Golbez in the name of thoroughness. Oh boy, John's found Dark Elf. The first phase is going to take okay damage. The second phase is going to fall apart.
Now, do the multipliers stack on top of one another because he has a dragon weakness and he has a light weakness? Like, do they stack?
Well, it doesn't do any holy damage.
Oh, okay. Well.
Olokizu does not do any elemental damage. It's just the racial weaknesses. So we're just looking at that, but they would stack if we had any weapons that, if you were say playing on a flag that let you have your attacks be holy and do bonus damage to dragons, it would stack, yes.
Quad 9s, yeah. Now we're just letting our harp hero.
Edward can just handle Dark Elf. He's fine. More split experience on the moon, though. Rydia's up to Fatal.
That's it. That's go mode.
That is go mode for John. John is out. Not the cleanest go mode. I mean, Super Cannon's faster than Sealed Cave, I think. But it's looking tricky for Pankraz to find a go mode that's that quicker, or that's quick, or as quick as John's go mode. Especially with those out of the without Sander.
This has to leave. Yeah, this has to leave exactly.
It'd have to be like Tower Key, and then you find Baron Key from that, and even then, that's rough. That's a spoon. An alternative Eddie weapon. It's nice. We'll keep it. Not great, but we'll keep it. John going immediately to turn in that Sand Ruby, get the full heal. Hey look, it's another Edge.
Edge just really wanted to be a part of this party, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and John has now said no to him twice. Okay, Pankraz going for Sheila 1, going to be getting his pass. That is another reason why Pankraz might have avoided the moon. John had that pass, which lets you skip going back to the moon. Pankraz did not.
Where was the pass?
Sheila 1.
Oh, okay.
John did Sheila 1 before the grind, and Pankraz didn't. That's that difference right there. We find another cane here at the package. I don't think John's going to be taking this cane. I don't think we're even going to Kaipo again.
I think the other appropriate fire spray there is actually burning Mist Village now. So.
Zeromus himself is burning Mist Village down. No more middlemen. Or middlemen of middlemen. No, Zeromus himself has decided to burn Mist Village down.
That's one way to get through that.
Yeah. We're gonna turn ourselves to statues so that Kane doesn't summon at us.
I mean, I'm terrified of a Dragoon summons too, personally.
Yeah, that would be scary. Right. Thank you, Beauty, for correcting me. It's middlemen of middlemen of middlemen. There were so many chains that order had to get passed down to. Zeromus passed down the order to Golbez, who passed it on to Kainazo, who passed it on to Cecil. If you think about it. I can see the argument for having Baigen in the mix, but no, I'm pretty sure Kainazo handed over the order. Baigen assisted for sure, and is definitely above Cecil in the chain of command. But
he did, I think, literally handed it, like Kainazo handed it to Baigen, who then immediately handed it to Cecil.
I guess we could say Baigen is another middleman.
Like, we're just following the chain of command here.
Yeah, there's like 4 different ranks in the chain of command.
And now you know why the military budget is so high.
Yes, we need to make sure we're paying Golbez for following Zeromus's orders, but then we need to pay Kainazo to follow Golbez's orders, and we need to pay Baigen to follow Kainazo's orders, and we need to pay Cecil to follow Baigen's orders, all so that we can deliver one package to the Village Mist.
All right, so Pankraz now on the moon looks like is also immediately going down to where we know Go Mode is going to be. Yeah, Pankraz also now has the pass.
He is well on his way, has the pass, won't be stuck, will be able to leave as soon as he gets Go Mode. But John's just got this Valphite to do, and then a sealed cave that Pankraz has not done. So I think John's in a great position here. John can even take a door on the way through Sealed Cave if he feels like he needs to get a little more experience on Rydia.
We're not at 10 key items.
No, we're not. We are very much not at 10 key items. We will not be at 10 key items.
I'm curious.
Pankraz will when he finishes the Sealed Cave. John will not.
So here's the question then at this point. Will John get enough experience on his Rydia to get to Nuke?
That is a great question. This spot, Val is 28,000. Here. A door is 30-something thousand. I don't remember the exact number.
I think that's what I would be most worried about, because right now, Pankraz, all these bosses, Pankraz is going to be able to get through them much faster because Nuke.
Nuke is good, yes. I'm enjoying Edward punching for 2,500 damage. Apparently Edward has learned how to be Yang.
Like, anyone can take monk lessons.
Yep, and he has punched Valvalis to death. That's 28,000. No level for Rydia, but she is level 49. She's on the last level she needs. That's a sizable chunk of experience. There's 23,000 from the Sealed Cave boss itself. Plus another... If we take a door, that's another 30,000 easily. So I think one door plus the Sealed Cave boss should be enough. Depends if we want Nuke for Sealed Cave.
I think we could probably get through Sealed Cave without Nuke. I'm just thinking about Zeromus himself.
Yeah. No, Zeromus is where we really do want the Nuke. And we might see John take a door, but I would not be surprised if he goes for the boss first and then realizes he doesn't have Nuke after that. And at that point, is it worth taking the time to fight a door to get Nuke? So since Pankraz has also just hit go mode. Pankraz does not need to go fight Valalis. Pankraz just needs to go to the sealed cave and take care of a couple errands.
Yeah, it's so close. John's in the driver's seat right now, but any delay could spell doom.
Yeah. Chat is bringing up, this might be where John wants the gauntlet to show up here. Not because it's fast, but because Pankraz will also sit through it. And it will give him more experience.
He did just turn on random encounters.
Did he? He did. Oh my goodness, he is taking a door. I mean, honestly, I don't hate this door. I do not hate taking this door at all. We're gonna bonk the door a bit. Okay, door goes down, no problem. That's 31,000 experience. That's not enough for Rydia's level, but that is quite a bit of experience there. Hopefully John remembers to turn off random encounters. Just a ninja star for our prize here, so no key item from the sealed cave. And it is a Leviathan here. That is not a good fight.
No!
Oh
and he
no.
resets out!
Yeah, well, you have to reset out here because Leviathan's about to wipe out the party. But unfortunately, we lost that door. Going back in, he's lost some time for sure, but he's still a little ahead of Pankraz. Pankraz did not do the overworld errands either. That's a thing to keep in mind. Pankraz has not done that Sandruby yet, has not done that package cutscene yet. John going in for round 2 against the door. Pankraz might beat through this Leviathan first, but does have a couple bosses to take care of. They're not going to be super long, but they are extra little bits of errands that he will have to take care of before he can get his crystal. Yeah, Pankraz getting into this Leviathan fight first. John is approaching the Leviathan fight.
Ooh, does this clone survive this?
Yes, she does. Just barely. I was doing the math in my head. We're gonna throw that ninja star that the sealed cave just gave us. How kind of it. Loki's loot, unfortunately, not particularly good against Leviathan. John still has silk webs to spare. Oh, Ice 2 hurts a lot, by the way. Nuke is going to be very nice for Pankraz here, but Lit 3 isn't terrible, given our fast anchoring.
Yeah, the speed is going to be a little bit different because Nuke is an instant cast.
Yes.
A little bit of a cast time.
Lit 3 has a little casting delay. Casting delay matters a lot more on slow anchor situations than fast anchor situations. But the damage difference is the big deal right now. That was not as much damage as we were hoping for from Lit 3. Ice 2 bouncing back, good. Pankraz is out of the fight a little bit earlier, but John's not too far behind. Does get that level. John has Nuke.
That's huge.
This is going to be a real close one. My goodness. Okay. Pankraz is out of Sealed Cave, headed straight for Kaipo and then Mist, going to be taking care of that Sand Ruby, taking care of that package. John just needs to get out of Sealed Cave and go to Zeromus.
And it's important for Pankraz, yeah, to do the Sand Ruby before, because if you try to enter that town after you've done the package, you're going to have a bad time.
It's a whole extra fight. You don't want to do that. No. Do the Sanderby first. Yep. Rydia still has her white magic command because we didn't do dwarf. That is Pankraz done with the curing the fever. John is flying out of the underground, frantically, heading up to Zeromus. Pankraz has a package cutscene to sit through, so that'll buy John a little time. Pankraz is going to have a faster Z fight, though. He does have a few extra levels, which are going to make his party members hit just a little harder. He does have...
Still has that Dragon Whip equipped.
Take the Dragon Whip off! Please! I mean, it's fine to start the fight. Just remember to take it off before you start slinging nukes, please.
Keep in mind, remember, this is only the first game but on our double header tonight between JohnBirckhead and xPankraz. Hope you're ready for round 2. It's going to happen almost, not quite immediately.
Sometime after this one is done. Pretty soon. It'll be right here. Yeah, John does definitely have a decent lead. Pankraz's nukes are hitting harder. Pankraz is also going to be hitting harder with those other characters. The double ninja edge, if we cared about melee, would be very good. Edge can dart the... Pankraz has a spoon dart that John doesn't have as well. But John's heading into Zeromus.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic fight right now. Who's butt, blah, 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 memes, whatever. This is just too good of a race, really, to meme too much. We're all focused so much on the race right now.
I suppose, yeah, we can ask the question about whose butt we're going to kick tonight. Because I do want to know, but one question's enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Crystal goes off. Meanwhile, Pankraz is getting ready to use the pass and is on his way as well.
Yep. Grrg. And we have... Zeromus? Yeah, Zeromus.
Not sure where that's from.
I have no idea where this is from. It is from Wild Arms, according to chat. Thank you.
The first silk web that Cecil threw whiffed, so we have a second silk web that Eddie is queuing up, and we have a counter nuke on its way.
John, I think, forgot to take the Dragon Whip off. Please take the Dragon Whip off of Rydia. Okay, I think he's realized. He's setting up to put the change rod at the top of the inventory. That'll be a 10-point wisdom swing, which will help John a lot in this fight. Cecil's taking a swing because we're still before the first Big Bang. Good, we swapped the rod. Any direct damage you do before the first Big Bang cannot trigger the HP refill. So it's perfectly safe to do a few swings before the first Big Bang comes out. After that, if we're past the HP threshold, you can trigger the refill.
Looks like we're still taking a couple swings. John definitely playing things a little tight.
Yeah, wants to get out that extra damage. Rydia and Porum are not doing a really great job with this reflex strats. They're doing their best. They're trying. But it's not going as smoothly as we would like. Pankraz, it looks like, is just swinging away, does not care. We're going to do some hybrid strats because we've got powerful enough Zerkers.
I tend to like that double ninja, sword edge, Spoonword / Loki Harp, whatever. They both do a lot. And a white mage that can live through a Big Bang unnerved.
Yeah. There's Big Bang number 1 out for Pankraz, just fine, it's already nerfed. John is still hurling spells at Zeromus, doing okay damage. Takes another Big Bang here. Not nerfed. That down goes Edward. Rydia is alive.
Waiting for that black hole cast. Yep.
Yep. Gonna throw up that Star Veil and go right back into casting. Pankraz still grinding through this HP, is going to have to do all the full damage if we keep these Zerkers going. But John's been doing some good work. There's 7,700 more from John. Quad 9s though from Pankraz, from his spells. Pankraz is just getting better damage off those spells. Cecil is now being a monk on Pankraz's side. More spells are flying. There's a shake on John's side.
This is going to be incredibly close whenever we get it here.
John's nuke didn't.
John's
the nuke
done.
isn't going away. John is done. With an official time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 2 seconds. GG's to John.
Oh, GG's. And there's the rocks fall on Pankraz's side.
Oh my goodness. Pankraz is almost done too. Just a couple swings. This nuke should do it.
Yeah, direct nuke cast. It's going to be within a minute of one another. Yeah, there's the
that
nuke.
is
Crash, boom, bang.
the GG's to Pankraz. Finishing in second place in this race with a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 40 seconds.
GG's
38
to both of our
difference.
runners.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and JohnBirckhead does even this up. 1 win, 1 loss apiece for both of our runners. And we are joined now by the man, the myth, the legend himself, JohnBirckhead. GG's. How much is your heart pounding, especially after seeing how close the final times were?
As it turns out, Vitasia, I still have a lot of leftovers from John Con, so we are progressively calming down over here.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad we've set you up perfectly well over there.
You really have, yeah.
Yeah, with this win, you've guaranteed that tonight is not going to be the end of this series. So we're gonna have a game 4 sometime next week. Woo!
Woo woo. Yeah, game 4 will be on Wednesday, 7 p.m. I believe. I think that's what we're. Pankraz and I are trying to work out the logistics as we speak, but it's looking tentatively like game 4 will be on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. I want to shout out that dancing dagger so much. That made so many things faster for you in the early game.
Yeah, I had a seed against Kyrios, which he won. But I did my open. I had it was similar situation of like team 90 HP or some garbage, and so I looted Mist Village instead of doing my normal, in hopes of finding a dancing dagger for sale, and I found one. And so I was like, maybe I'll go and try to do that again. I was like, let me just do my normal, see what happens. And then I think it was like literally the first chest. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
No, I really liked the play into Damsian as opposed to Pankraz's Eblin play for that party specifically because sure you could get a Heroine Rogue, sure you could get a Bahamut Rogue, but outside of those, or a Leviathan Orb, but outside of those things, and even with the Bahamut or Leviathan Orb, you're not going to get to use that right away. You need some levels first.
for sure, yeah.
Like, going to a high density, not super high tier area, just really heads up if you're looking for that Dancing Dagger or money to buy a Dancing Dagger, and it worked out for you really well. It meant that you had the time advantage going into all the checks on the overworld, just because Damsian does not take as long as Eblin Castle.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
it gave you everything you needed really to get through a lot of that. Pankraz didn't find anything better other than ninja swords, which became useful when Edge showed up, but until then, you're pretty much on even footing, loot-wise, the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is I found, like you said, power early to go ahead and get through. I basically god routed and I won by 38 seconds. And I think that really kind of tells the story
I mean,
between myself and
Pankraz
Pankraz.
did one extra check, and it's because, at least I haven't asked him about it yet, of course, but he did Sheila 1 after the grind, and so did the whole Fey March. Then did Sheila 1, got the pass, and was like, okay, now I'll go to the moon.
Got it.
And routed the moon exactly the same as you did.
Yeah.
The only other difference was Pankraz did Demus before the grind.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes, look, you remembered. It's okay. It was a twin harp that didn't lead anywhere.
Yeah.
No one did it. It's okay.
So I don't want to necessarily keep you because we know you got to get set up for the doubleheader. But the last question I had is, you didn't have Nuke on Gridea quite yet. You cut your grind a little bit short, but it felt like you were counting your experience the entire time, and that's why you took that final door. Do I have that right?
So the plan was doors to get to 50 for sure. The fun fact that I didn't even realize is that I guess on Be No Free, when you can't no free doors either, so you have to take it. I was planning on doing doors on the way out in hopes that, because the crystal was my 9th key item, I was hoping that Luca would have another key item and it'd be 10. Because I saw, I knew it was close. I just didn't know just how close it was. So the plan was to do doors on the way out. And then it just kind of worked out that the one you had to take plus the boss got me there, and off we went. I wanted to have, I wanted to sling somebody, and slinging like White's a very powerful spell, right? So and for as horrendous as it is to have an Eddie hero, with Silk Web's easy to find. And then you can just really jack up the agility and just throw a Silk Web, and the Silk Webs are so powerful when you have a really fast hero. Like, she'll get some turns. So, just one sling, and then we'll figure the rest out like we always do. But no, the plan was to hopefully get 10 key items and then do doors on the way out. But today I learned, after 3 years of playing this randomizer, that being no free means you gotta take the doors.
And we were just looking at the spoiler log real quick and discovered that Harp had some value.
Oh, what do they have?
Tower key.
Oh, snap. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. And then Baron was behind a very long chain from top of tower that no one was doing.
Gotcha.
Do you want to do top of tower to get your Pan to go talk to Sheila, to get your Earth Crystal, to go up the Tower of Zot, to get your Baron key?
Want, need, should, probably not. No, definitely not. It doesn't.
Yeah, no.
We're supposed to have fun playing games. So,
yes, we are generally supposed to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
With that said, again, we know you got to get set up here directly. Any other final thoughts before we let you go and get ready for Game 3 and Part 2 of our doubleheader?
No, just grateful. I was very embarrassed on Game 1. A little bit of bad luck, a lot of bad gameplay, and Yikes. So to not get swept feels pretty good. You know, I think I'm legally required to say I'm good at the game at this point, so that people don't hurt me. But there's good and then there's xPankraz. So to not be swept is good, and I felt guilty that like the first match like wasn't even close. So for this one to be close and for it to be a fun watch, I feel better. So just feeling grateful, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, GG's to you, and best of luck here on the upcoming race.
Thank you, and GG's xPankraz, obviously, and we'll see y'all. Not sure when we're starting. No, I know we're scheduled for 9:30. Maybe we're starting early. I don't know. I think we're just kind of making it as we go along, so we'll figure all that out. But thank you very much.
All right, and that was John. We'll see if Pankraz is going to be stepping in here for a second.
We are now joined by Pankraz. GG's.
Hey, thank you. GG's.
What a race that was.
Oh yeah, good times it seems.
Did it feel as close as it ended up being on your end?
I'm not sure. I know that there was a number of slow moments for me, wasting a bit of time, not changing my anchor around / unequipping the Loki loot for a number of fights. Caused a little bit of strife and a little lot of slow down. But, I figured John would be close behind. I didn't think he would necessarily be right on top of me and ahead.
Yeah,
I'll
it
be
was.
adjusting accordingly.
It was an interesting one, and I mean, a lot of that came down to the looting at the very beginning.
Yes, I spoke with John a bit about that. One of the first questions I said is, did you find anything for Ed? And he said, Dancing Dagger and Dancing Basement. And I just kind of smacked my forehead right there.
Yep.
Because...
John didn't. John, I think, only looted Damsey Basement and then a few incidental boxes along the way, and that was it. And ended up basically on loot parity with you, minus the ninja swords.
And that didn't matter because he kept Kane over Edge.
Yeah.
Well, Dancing Basement, I think, in addition to having the Dancing Dagger,
it was like
also
Dancing
had
Dagger, Dwarf Axe, Ice Brand.
I think I heard Sylph Summon as well.
It was like
Sylph
all
Summon,
of the things
Vroom
you wanted
Ring.
for that particular party in the early game.
And it saves you about a minute or two going
Yes.
over, the entirety of 3 monster boxes in the right cat tower. Which was funny,
Yeah.
But
I mean, you still managed to take a whole Golbez fight.
yeah, 1 Golbez fight, 2 or a second D-Lunars fight.
Yes.
That's always fun.
I mean,
Of course, it's a boss that I can't.
yes, it was.
I
We
was
were
upset
talking about it. We're
about
like, Pankraz Octopum Vampires. That's a real heads-up play because, we're thinking about that Ordeals 3 fight. You don't have that Dancing Dagger. You're gonna have a little bit more trouble with that. And of course, it's D-Lunars, which is like one of 2 bosses that would actually be a problem there, and the other one is Mylon Z, and Mylon Z is, I guess I'll pick some arrows up and shoot them.
Yeah, and I had a bow and arrow for Mylon Z. That would have been fine. We saw the purple robe at the start. I didn't see the second purple robe in the waterfall yet, so I didn't know it wasn't necessarily Mylon. But there was exactly one thing, D-Lunars, because and elements, I suppose.
They would have been annoying.
But yeah, that's largely why I stopped looting in Eblin on that dive, and why I went to Eblin in part, looking for vampires, looking for something on that route. That's why I put off Ordeals to do Baron Inn as well, is because Ed couldn't reasonably do Ordeals 3 with what I had.
Mm-hmm.
So looking for something to be able to do that, finding it, and then getting slapped in the face was a good time.
That was not pleasant. But, you made it work.
Yeah, we made it work the second time with a little bit of re-equipping and, maybe not quite 38 seconds of re-equipping, but...
Yeah. No, you were you were about 3 minutes behind going down the hook route, so you made up a lot of time in the second half of the game, especially.
I imagine the extra experience, the Mac Giant grind that I did was pretty solid.
Yes.
With just
You
kind
did
of
a-
consistent 2 shots and no punching coming back.
No, you had the slingshot set up on Rydia as well, which John did not have set up, so you had nuke right away, and John didn't get it until after the Leviathan fight in Sealed Cave.
Oh yeah, because it was 3 reduced experience bosses in rapid succession.
Yes.
Elements, Odin, well, yeah, cool.
Odin was fine, and then it was
Bomb Bomb and
Chaos
Dark
Bomb
Elf.
Bomb
It's
and
just like, come
Dark
on.
Elf. Yeah, no, there's no experience there, so he had to take a door. Just one door.
Just to round it out a little bit.
Yes.
That's all the reduced experience. Oh, I guess Calbrina too. That's
Yeah, we
almost
didn't
all the reduced experience bosses left in the game. And we hit them all.
All
so it
right
takes talent.
in the high experience spots that you don't want to see them in.
All right.
Yeah, I
With
mean-
that,
The routing made sense to me. It was I'm a little curious about. I mean, I'm not curious about the decision to go back to Fey March because it's the objective, but I'm a little curious about whether the pass or lack of pass influenced your decision making.
Lack of pass did a little bit. I didn't want to instantly beeline the bottom. I knew I was sitting on that objective, sitting on the package, and what remained, 3 of the 4 key items were chaseable. So if one was a double in the Fey March, there's a chance that it could lead to more.
Yes.
So I wanted to focus on objectives that could give items and not necessarily be doing new checks. And then Val doesn't give anything. It's a Dragoon armor, something to that effect. Rune Axe, there we go.
Rune Axe, yes. So I was like, I think Rune
something.
Axe.
I had one of those. We didn't need another.
Yeah.
One. It was unremarkable. So chasing that, trying to basically playing to the objectives to minimize extra things to do was the goal there. When the Rune Axe turned up, it's like, all right, we won't skip this by proximity. Let's knock out this Golbez real quick because I could set up the Venom at the moment.
Yeah.
Did that in the Val fight. It was easy. If it gave me a tower keep, we exit and we don't worry about it. Or about the Golbez. If it didn't, then we could go do something else. It's
And
just
then-
a figuring things out
It was
along the way.
Yes. It was just a situation of John got the pass before the grind and you got the pass after the grind. But I totally understand the play into the Fey March for the objective, for sure. As we're always saying, chase your objectives.
Yep. Don't maybe always chase your objectives, but when it can get you to go,
When they can gate something.
yeah, when they can give you go mode or get you very, very close, why not?
Yes.
well, with that said, we know that you have to get set up for the second half of the doubleheader. Any other final thoughts on the scene?
No, it was a little bit of a fun one. Eddie Heroes, tricky to manage with a lack of early game and mid game power largely, and well, I got bit by not finding the early game power, so I'll just definitely be sure to do that on the next one.
Yeah, it's that easy. Just go to the
Just
right
find the
place, open
things.
the right box.
Open the right boxes, do the right checks, just
Yeah,
win.
don't do any of the wrong
Ultimate.
checks.
Do the right
that's
stuff,
how you
don't
win.
do the wrong
If
stuff,
only it were
win the
that
game,
simple.
and then do it faster than your opponent. And
Yeah.
so we'll try to do all of that for game 3.
All right, with that, Pankraz, have a good rest of your night. Best of luck here in this upcoming race.
Of course, we'll see you all there shortly.
And with that, that's going to do it, at least for us. Stay tuned because there is the second half of this doubleheader. We're going to hand it off to the other team. Keep in mind, just I want to give a shout out to all of tonight's team here, of course. Inja Dave with the restream, Beauty and Discovery with the tracking, and of course my wonderful co-commentator Zeno Cat. I always love working with you, Zeno. It's always a blast.
Yeah. Pleasure working with you, Vitasia.
Keep in mind, we're going to pass it on over to our team for the rest of the evening. Antidale on the restream, Dark Plague with tracking, and then you'll have both Scarcerer and Judge Joe on the mics. Stay tuned for JohnBirckhead versus xPankraz, round 3 here on Free Hitter.